and welcome to our viewers for our English show. And I know that what actually happens is we get a lot of Iranians who don't speak English.
Yes.
And let me tell you beforehand, you're going to get thousands of people saying, why isn't it in Farsi? Well, 4 days a week we are in Farsi. 1 day a week we're going to be in English. Actually, 3 days a week we're in Farsi. 1 day a week we're going to be in English because we have actually an English audience. And we'd like to also give them some of the knowledge that we have. And also, just like myself, a lot of Iranians are married to non-Iranians.
Yes.
And I think they would like to share this work with them. And we have a promise that in 2021, we're actually going to start our English programs again. As you know, all of our workshops and seminars actually started in English.
Yes.
Because my English is better than my Farsi, believe it or not. And so for that reason, we're going back to English, and I'm very happy to be able to do that because I really feel like a lot of people really need this work who cannot speak Farsi. So here we are. That's our first English show, and I love this topic. It's the topic that I started all of my seminars with.
Wow.
Other than addiction, which was my first beginning of my work. The male, female, masculine, feminine energies are really where all of the work of Embrace Growth and all of the seminars and workshops began. So I'm really happy. Do we have questions already?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Very good.
So Dr. Sayan, the first question is that when we are in a relationship, how can we define, how can we understand that who is carrying feminine energy and who is having masculine energy?
That's a really great question. So let me educate you a little bit about masculinity and femininity. A lot of times when we talk about masculinity and femininity, people go into polarity. They think it's either or. If I'm a woman, then my energy is feminine. If I'm a man, then my energy is masculine. In fact, all human beings are created with both masculine and feminine energies. As you can see, even physically, we have estrogen and we have testosterone in both the men and women, and then the ratio differs. So we have feminine energies in our hormones and masculine energies in our hormones. And some people carry, some women carry more testosterone, and their testosterone is actually dominant in their bodies. And so they have more male energy, male characteristics, and some men carry feminine hormones in abundance, and therefore their energy is a lot more feminine. But regardless of our hormones, people are really bi-energetic. In other words, we all have feminine and masculine energies in us. It all depends on our upbringing, our own attraction, our own tendencies, our own characteristics, which energies we focus on more and which energies we exhibit more and manifest in our thinking, in our behavior, in our way of being, in our self-expression. So some people, they have a really great balance of male-female energies, and they simultaneously express male-female energies at the same time. And that's really a beautiful thing to watch. When you see people like that, it's a little bit confusing because you look at them and if it's a man, you see this really attractive male energy coming out of him. And at the same time, there is absolute beauty and female energy coming out of him. And so you see the balance in some people, and it's really, really magnetic when the male-female energy are in balance. In some people, you see their masculine energy, their aggressiveness, their go-gettingness, their focusedness, their wanting to go somewhere and getting that and just being focused on that, and wanting to get results, you know, being really focused on getting results, problem solving, being very directive, not really verbal but more active in their actions, showing who they are mostly by their actions rather than their words. Having explosive emotions is the role of the male energy. It expresses itself very quickly and then dies down. Female energy is a lot more receptive, a lot more flowing, a lot more artistic, a lot more receiving, cooperative, wanting to work things out, yet at the same time it's emotional, more based, feeling-based, rather than intellect-based or logical, wanting to harmonize things and wanting to work things out. So feminine energy is more about relatedness, and masculine energy is more about getting things done. So how we know in a relationship is you look, and a lot of people fluctuate. So in certain ways they are masculine, like at work they're very masculine in terms of getting things done and being a boss and ordering people around and being aggressive and like that. And then they may come home and be really about homemaking and relationships and calling their friends and wanting to get together. So they may switch. And some people are like that in every way. Like in the relationship, they say what they want and they're very logical and they want to get things done. And yet, when it comes to the children, they're very feminine. So we all carry a balance of that, and it's not good or bad. And it all depends on what you're attracted to. Some people are very attracted to masculine energy, even though themselves they have the masculine energy. Some people are very attracted to feminine energy, even though they themselves are very feminine. Some people are repulsed by feminine energy because they're feminine. And some people are repulsed by masculine energy because they're very masculine. So it all depends on what you like and what you're attracted to. Really, there is no good or bad in terms of masculinity and femininity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A woman asked that I'm dating a guy, 44 years old, and he wants my attention 24 hours. If he's out of town and I want to go to a party, he contacts me and asks questions, and then he distances himself, and he just wants to have security and attention in all the way. If I'm talking to someone, he comes behind the line on the phone, and he wants me to answer him immediately. Sometimes he does some wrong stuff, and then he says, I wanted to take your attention, that's why I did it. He does all of these things to get the attention from the woman. Mm-hmm. Is it like feminine energy, or it's what is it? Is it like, can we...
Well, it's called a control freak, actually. It's not masculine or feminine. This is somebody who has issues with himself. It sounds like he hasn't ever really grown up, is not aware of the fact that he suffocates the people he's in a relationship with. And I have a feeling that his relationships are not very successful. People like that, when you meet them in the beginning, it's so nice. They call you all the time. They want to spend time with you. They're really focused on you. They notice everything about you. They're very involved. And, you know, in this day and age where people are kind of like, I'll call you, and then they never do, when you first meet somebody like that, it's like, oh my God, I found my soulmate, or whatever it's called. And then you realize slowly but surely that you're suffocating and that it's too much. I will usually tell people like that, run, really run from this suffocation, because it's an extremely unhealthy situation. And at the end of the day, you're not going to stay with this person unless you yourself are extremely sick, in which case, congratulations, two sick people have found himself, and you will torture each other to death, and one of you will cheat on the other one or somehow get out. Or you'll just, you know, at the end of it, somehow find your way to go get help anyway, because this is a suffocating situation. So I recommend that you tell this person, really, this is unhealthy for me. I realize that maybe you like me, but this is like you have some seeds in your hand and you want to feed a bird, and then the bird comes and sits in your hand and is eating the seeds, but you're so mesmerized by this bird that you close your hand and now you want to keep this bird and you don't want to let it go. Well, you're going to kill the bird. So eventually in this relationship, you're going to suffocate this person, just like you're going to do it to a bird. Relationships are healthy when you put what you know the other person likes in your hand and you keep your hand open and you let them come and go. And you keep feeding them and nurturing them and allowing them the freedom to fly. That is a healthy relationship. But when you close your hand and you want to control this person, they're no longer a bird. They're now a prisoner or they're dead. So I don't call this a healthy relationship. It's a very sick situation. And definitely, if you are suffocating, you should let the person know that you need to get out. Now, if this is a committed relationship, if you really want to keep the relationship, I suggest that you both get the help of a professional, that you both go to therapy individually, but also with each other, so that you can get help. Because otherwise it's not going to go well.
Thank you. We have a question from a young lady. She's 19 years old.
In Farsi?
Yeah, they wrote in Farsi. Oh. She's 19 years old.
I hope you speak English.
I think she does because the poster is in English.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
She says that I have a question about masculinity in front of femininity. My boyfriend is 25 years old and he's becoming very successful at work, and he keeps telling me to stop working. But I love to work. I've been working since I was 15 years old, and my mother teaches at university, and my father all the time saying that you have to stop working. And the same scenario is happening for me with my boyfriend, whose mother and aunt are housewives. So I want to know what I am supposed to do if this scenario is going to just repeat in my life, and how I'm going to stand in front of my boyfriend.
Well, first of all, I suggest that you resolve your past because you're angry with your father, which is why you're repeating the same scenario that your mother had, and you're hoping to resolve it and not be your mother. And you're also angry with your mother because for many years she has put up with somebody who's probably torturing her and making her, invalidating her. And so the first thing you need to do is to get help for yourself to resolve the past that has impacted you between your parents, and the vow you made to yourself that I'm never going to be like my mother. And as they say in psychology, whatever you resist persists. So you're resisting not being your mother, which means you are going to be like your mother and attract somebody like your father, and then you're hoping not to be like your mother and not to have this problem in your life. So, but here you are, yes? Here's the thing, you're in relationship with the wrong person. You're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't want you to be you. You're in a relationship with somebody who wants a woman who's going to stay home and not work. Or he's in relationship with somebody that he wants them to prove to him how much they love him by giving up something that they love. And this is his Achilles heel, if you will. This is his weakness. So, and you want to be in relationship with somebody who keeps insisting to you that, oh, I want to take care of you, please let me take care of you. And you keep insisting, oh no, I want to take care of myself, I want to be independent. So can you see how this drama keeps playing out, with each of you wanting to get the other person's attention and love by insisting on something to you, just like your parents did. Your father keeps insisting your mother should give up something that she likes, and your mother keeps insisting, no, 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 I want to continue doing what I love, but you keep insisting on it. Because if I don't want to be with somebody who keeps torturing me, it's really simple. I leave. I don't have to stay there, or I get help. Or I tell them, if you don't change, I'm going to have to seek some other way of resolving this issue. In other words, find a way to handle it. Your parents didn't handle it, you need to handle it. And here's one way that I suggest, is you sit your boyfriend down and you say, listen, for years I watched my parents torture each other. My mom by continuing to work, and my dad by insisting that she stop working so that she can prove to him how much she loves him and that her work is not as important as my father is. And my father being tortured by the fact that my mother is working and she's independent, and being afraid that because she's independent she can leave him at any time, and wanting to control her so she doesn't have money so she can't leave. And this is a really sick relationship that I have no desire of repeating in my own life. So I want you to know that I'm not going to quit working. And if you bring it up one more time, our relationship is over. So I need you to make up your mind. Do you want to be with a woman who has a career, or do you want to be with a woman who is a homemaker? Because I'm not a homemaker, I'm a career woman. So you need to make up your mind what kind of woman you want to be with. And it's just really as simple as that. And I want you to know that you want to take care of me, and I really appreciate that. And you can take care of me. You can buy me a car, you can buy me a house, you can, provide for me, you can pay the bills, and I appreciate that a man does that. However, I don't need you to do that. I appreciate that you do that, but I don't need you to do that. So I want to be in a relationship where I have my own income, that I can support myself, and that I'm an independent woman, and that I am not financially bound to a man. I'm with him not because I need him, but because I want to be with him. So you need to have this conversation with him.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
When you want to approach at first, when a woman likes a man or a man likes a woman, how this approach going to happen? If women go and ask a man out, like, let's have a coffee with each other, or can I take you out? Is that going to change the balance in the energy, and what's the consequences?
Well, you're taking a chance, because most men want to be the hunter. Most men want to be the one that they come forward and they say, hey, do you want to go out with me? Or I really like you, or, some such thing. And we as women actually like that. We want men to approach us, to come after us, because it shows something about their character, their willingness to take risks, their manliness, their willing to be the pursuer in the relationship. And when men don't do that, I want you to know something. They're not really that interested in you. Because if they were, they would do that. And if men say, well, I'm really shy, I don't know how, whatever, or you make excuses for them, I want you to know something. That man will leave up to you all of the other pursuing in the relationship, and all of the other masculine tasks in the relationship. And if you're a feminine woman who wants to be pursued, who wants to be sought after, who wants that kind of attention, that wants the man to do things for her, you're gonna be left really in need and hungry and thirsting for that kind of attention from a man. And you may eventually leave this man, because a man will show up in your life who will do those things, and then you'll be like, oh my God, what have I been doing all these years? So I suggest that if you're that kind of woman and you really want that kind of a guy, then let that guy come forward and be the kind of woman that signals to men, smiles at men, has a really lovely energy to you, that you're easy to approach, that you're really lovable and adorable. You have that kind of really sweet energy that men want, that you talk to them, that you're easy to converse with, but that you don't say to them, will you please go out with me? That you don't be the energy that pursues. And I know a lot of women these days don't have the patience. But here's what the bad news is. That guy who's not coming forward, he's not really that into you. He really isn't. Because if he was, he'd be traveling from Australia to Los Angeles to see who you are, you know? And if he's not doing that, he's not really that interested. And if he didn't come to Los Angeles for you, he wasn't really that interested. So don't go after him and ask him out, because he's already told you, I'm not that interested. So for you to become the aggressive one and think that that's attractive, I want you to know, for 99% of men, even though they may say, yeah, you know, I really want a woman to be like that, it's baloney. They don't want a woman to be like that. Because most men, when a woman has done that, that relationship may have started, may have even gone for a while, but at the end of the day, he wants to be the man in the relationship. And if he's not, you'll be the one who's feeling like, why am I not desirable enough for a man to walk across the room and want to, you know, sweep me off my feet and, you know, lure me into going out with him. We, as women, we really like that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is there a way that we can express that we like a man without like asking him out or showing that we are interested?
Smile. Smile, talk to him, have a conversation. But, you know, don't be the one that asks him out. And here's the danger. I always tell women, you know, the masculine energy hunts. It plants seeds. It goes after developing something, nurturing something, or hunting something, and bringing it home with himself. So if he's neither nurturing something as a farmer or hunting something as a hunter, he's not that interested in you. So have a conversation for sure, be friendly, be open, be available, but let him do either the seeding or the hunting. Don't be the hunter and don't be the one who plants the seed. Let him do the work.
Thank you. We have a question about online dating. They say that it's really difficult because on online dating you get matched with other people, and then both of you have this chance to message the other one. Does it have masculine or feminine energy there as well?
If he doesn't message you, he's not interested. You didn't turn him on enough for him to take an action. And so, you know, don't do anything.
Okay.
Let the ones who wink at you, or whatever it is that they do on online dating, let him come after you, let him message you, let him say, you know, I'd really like to get to know you better. Would it be okay if I contact you? Whatever that, you know, masculine men do.
Okay. And then when men coming to women and they want to take them out, but then they ask, where should I take you, or what you want to do, or which restaurant should I take you, or what is it that you want to do for the first date, are we supposed to answer to that?
Yeah, you can say, wow, that is so attractive that you are asking me. That's so sweet. How about if I give you a few options of the things that I like, but I'd really love it if you'd pick. You know, if you decide where we go, because I really want to feel like I got taken out. And it really feels good to me and makes me happy when you choose. So I'll give you a few options and you tell me where.
Okay, lovely, thank you.
So give them options, don't tell them go there. Because the minute you do that, then you've now stepped into his territory and now you're the guy. You know why? You don't need to be the guy. Being the girl is so much nicer. So much
fun.
more fun.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I want to thank our viewers. Some of them, their English is not that good, and there's one person translating.
Really?
To Farsi on Instagram.
God.
So I really
thank
you all. Yeah, thanks
you.
a lot.
We always have lovely, wonderful, generous people like yourself who come to our assistance, and it's really lovely. So thank you.
Okay. Dr. Sayan, in the beginning of relationship, someone asked that my man was pursuing me, was coming after me, wanted to do things for me, take me out, be the man, the masculine energy. After 2 months that I was really happy and interested, he stopped doing that, and I am the one deciding for most of the things. I want to see him, I want to do things, and the energy changed, and I'm very sad, and I want to take it back to the first day we met. So how can I do that?
So here's the thing. The guy who did that and then he stopped, you stop. And you say, I need to communicate something with you. I really enjoyed our connection and our interaction and our relationship. And it seems like something has shifted. And I'd like to know what it was. Now, in my experience, a lot of women, they start out the relationship being kind of held back, wanting to get to know someone, allowing him to pursue them. But then they start two things. One is they start becoming a domestic animal. In other words, they're always around, they're always available, they're overkill. You know, always saying yes, and not really allowing some distance to be there. And, you know, already thinking about marriage and already seeing themselves in the white dress and already, you know, going over to his house and making food and moving in with him. And they're too much. They're too much seeing themselves as the guy's wife. And that's a turnoff. Like, you're moving faster than he's moving, and not allowing the relationship to develop. Another mistake I see a lot of women making is that when a man is pursuing them like that, they're very fast to have sex with him, to jump into bed with him, to get sexual with him, to get physical with him. And this makes the woman become bonded and dependent and vulnerable and weak, and thinking that she has invested more of herself in the relationship, and kind of, now what? Now that, okay, I thought this was really serious, and the guy starts pulling back because everything happened too fast, and he didn't get to really taste what it's like to fall in love, because the intimacy happened too quickly, and actually it killed the intimacy, because intimacy is something that develops over time. But when it starts out really intense and you immediately get into intimacy, you have now killed intimacy. There is no more intimacy. Intimacy just went and died. So you're not allowing it to develop. It's like giving birth to a 2-month-old fetus. It's not going to survive outside of the uterus. You gave birth too quickly. So having sex in the relationship and getting too close, too fast, opening up too much, is the same thing. You're not allowing the intimacy to grow and develop in its own time. And people these days, really, they want everything microwaved. You know, they don't have any patience to really cook a meal, to let it stay in the oven. And, you know, sometimes things take 8 hours to cook, and we want them microwaved. You know, I don't have time. You know, give it to me in an hour, or give it to me in 20 minutes, or give it to me in 1 minute. Let me zap it and it's ready. So when you leave a relationship up to men who, you know, their time from erection to ejaculation is pretty much 1 minute, you know, you're now allowing them to decide the fate of the relationship. You're now allowing them to get what they want really quickly, and then they're done. It's finished for them. But if it develops over time, then they get to really savor it, appreciate it, know its value, work for it. So if a man is done in 2 months, you should be happy that you don't continue that relationship. Now, you could have a talk with him and say, you know, has anything happened? Is there a problem? Have I done something to turn you off? And if he actually is willing to talk to you, and if there actually is a really valid problem, not excuses, if there is something that actually really makes sense to you, like he sits down with you and says, you know, I really like you, I really enjoy your intimacy, I really want to be close to you, but you really have a temper, you get angry very quickly, and I feel like you criticize me all the time, or you're trying to control me. If his concerns are valid and your behavior is really turning him off, then you should really listen and consider that maybe because he expressed himself and he was vulnerable and he showed his emotions, now I'm trying to, like, you know, put him into a box and not let him do anything. And so he's losing his enthusiasm for the relationship. So you should consider making changes to your own behavior, because your behavior is obviously not working in the relationship. So I would say have a conversation first. Don't allow the relationship to get intimate so quickly. Don't get physical or sexual in the first 2 months of the relationship. Allow the intimacy and the closeness to build. Don't play games with him. Don't play hard to get. Be open, be honest, be transparent in the relationship, and create a long-lasting friendship, and get to know the person and allow the relationship to grow. I hope that I've given you enough to think about in terms of the relationship. Yes,
Thank you. I want to take a chance to tell them about the upcoming events that we're going to have.
Yes.
There are 2 events that we're very excited about. The first one is the seminar From Getting to Know to Lasting Relationship, which is going to be in Vancouver, 8th of February at 7:30 p.m. You can purchase your tickets right now on the website or on the application. It's going to be 25 Canadian dollars if you purchase it right now, or contact the numbers on the poster, or contact office and purchase your tickets right now before it is sold out. This seminar has been conducted in Toronto and LA, and it was amazing. So I'm just suggesting that get a ticket and give it a gift as Valentine gift to someone that you really love, and go with friends and family. The other event that we are very, very excited about is the Valentine Gala in Toronto on 3rd of February, 7 p.m. Dr. Sayan herself going to be in this gathering with you, graduates, Toronto team, everyone, the whole family of Embrace Growth going to be there in this gala, and it's the best chance for you to introduce your loved ones to Embrace Growth, or just go there and get to know different people with different energy. I should say that we do not serve alcohol in our gatherings, and if you just try it one time in your life,
won't need it.
yeah, you will experience that you don't need it. You're gonna see how it's different. Like, people really come to our events and they're like, you guys didn't take anything. We're like, no. So just try it for once in your life. You should have this experience, and if you go, you're going to be addicted to all the events, especially by Toronto team. Get your tickets right now from Embrace Growth website or the application.
And I should say something. The gala tickets are literally selling out by tens on a daily basis. So if you think, oh, I'll wait, I'll decide later, don't. Space is very limited. So, you know, and this isn't like we're trying to make it popular, really. People are reserving and purchasing ticket 10 at a time.
Yeah.
So please make sure that you have your table, make sure that you buy your tickets. We do allow teenagers to attend the party, to meet other teenagers and to make friends with healthy teenagers who are really incredible, extraordinary youth. So if you want to bring your family and bring your teenagers to meet other healthy teenagers who are on the way of growth, please attend with your family.
Yes. Then we have the workshops coming up. Hamburg workshop going to be on 28th of February till March 1st.
The women-only workshop in Hamburg.
Women-only workshop. Then we have Los Angeles women-only workshop, April 17 to 19. In Toronto, June 26 to 28. And Yerevan, Armenia, going to be 6 to 8 of August. Then we have men workshop, Honor, Integrity, and Mastery in Los Angeles, March 13 to 15. Toronto, October 16 to 18. Yerevan, Armenia, November 5th to 7th. And then teenagers workshop. Actually, it's from 10 to 16th of age, like for children from 10 to 16th, nine and a half to 16. They can go to this workshop, 3 days workshop in Yerevan, Armenia. It's going to be 2 to 4th of August, Toronto, 3 to 5th of July. Some seminars in English for 2021.
Yes.
Okay, back to the questions. Dr. Sayan, in children, how it is for them? Is masculine and feminine energy defined? Can, as parents, we should do anything like buying different toys or behaving in certain ways going to help them define masculinity and femininity?
Children are cops and robbers and, Robin Hood and, Superman and, so it was very clear what we were dealing with, and if they wanted to play our games, it was like, I am the husband, or I'm the doctor. So it was very clear the roles that they were willing to take. And then I had other cousins who, even though they were male, they wanted to put on makeup and they wanted to play girly games and they wanted to play with the dolls and, play house and do all of that. And it was fun with them too. Now, both male cousins, of both kinds, they ended up, growing up, becoming very successful, getting married, having families, but their energies were different. And nobody labeled them. Nobody said, you're this or you're that or you're a girl, or nobody shamed them or put labels on them. I had a very accepting family that really allowed children to experiment. So I think this day and age, what I see a lot in parents is parents freak out if their boy wants to put on a dress or wants to play with girls or wants to play with dolls. Immediately their first mind is, oh my God, is my child a transvestite or a cross-dresser or gay or, no, it's children experimenting. And you should allow them to experiment and let them decide when they grow up where they land. And you should be very cautious that in school they don't label them or they don't push them in one direction or another, and let them find their way. And I don't have anything against transvestites or gays. If people want to be that way, for sure they should. But let's not decide for them. Let's not put them in a certain category just because they have certain energies. Children have both energies and they frequently experiment with both. And we should allow them, a boy who cries is not a sissy or is not gay, and a girl who likes to play with boys is not necessarily, butch or a lesbian. We should be careful not to put them in boxes and just allow them to play with both energies. And, as they grow up, they'll gravitate more towards whatever it is that they choose in life as partners, but we should be really cautious not to force something on them.
Thank
or
you.
not to decide for them, actually.
Thank you.
Sure.
A woman, 35 years old, sent us a question. She says that I recently met a gentleman, 32 years old, online, and that guy is living in another country. We have been talking for 1 month. The guy is very successful, educated, internationally known because of his success. And we've been talking for 1 month, and he is asking me to be in a committed relationship with him from far away until he's able to travel and see me and get to a marriage relationship, like getting engaged and everything. The woman asking that I know I have good qualities, but how can this guy know? And is it like masculinity approaching that way, or what is it?
Well, he's asking you not to sleep around and not to go out with other guys. And the masculine energy frequently marks its territory. It says, this is mine. It's not unusual. Now, if you're just dating, it's like going shopping. You don't buy the dress and bring it home and commit to it. So you can say, I really appreciate that you asked me that. However, we haven't met yet, and I'm not certain that I want to be in a committed relationship. If you don't want that, but I'm willing to stay in a conversation and get to know you better until I decide whether I'm willing to commit to this relationship. If you haven't reached the point, if you're asking me this question, if you haven't reached the point to decide this for yourself, you're not ready. You don't know this guy enough. You're wondering if he's being possessive or he's being controlling, or, you know, if there is an issue. So let him know that. Let him know, I really appreciate the attention. I appreciate your commitment. I get that you want to tell me that you're an honorable man and that you're not going to be dating anybody else. However, I would like a chance to get to know you better before I commit to exclusively dating you, because really, I don't know how long this is going to take until you get here. If he's in another country and he's Iranian, good luck. You know, especially if the country that the woman lives in is the United States, you know, unless the guy has some kind of qualification where he can get a visa easily. Listen, even Americans living, Iranians who live in America, who are citizens, are having difficult time leaving and getting back into the country right now. So I think that you should really consider whether you want, how much time, if you're 35 years old, how much time or energy you want to put into a relationship when you don't even know when you can see this guy. So, and even if you did see him and if the relationship was committed, what are you going to do? You're going to move to another country, he's going to move to where you are. This is complicated. So you should sort that out for yourself before you get into a long-distance relationship with somebody who lives somewhere else. Really be clear about where you stand in that way.
What happens that men from long distance, they're hunting women in another country, like with very long distance? Is it?
Well, it depends. In our culture, I'm always suspicious when anyone is hunting somebody in another country, especially if they live in Iran. I always think, is this a visa situation? Are you trying to run away? Because if you're living in a country where there's 70 million Iranians, you're hunting online for some Iranians somewhere else. Why aren't you hunting where, you know, you've got a lot of possibilities? You know, why go hunt somewhere else? So that's always suspicious. Especially if somebody is very well established in Iran and they have a career and they have, you know, family there. You always think, you know, what is this about? Or do you want me to leave and come where you are? You know, what is that about? You know, like, you can't find somebody over there. If it's people living in other countries and they're trying to find an Iranian who's also living abroad, I always think, well, it may have to do with the fact that wherever they're living, there may not be that many qualified Iranians and they really want an Iranian. So you can't fault them for that, wanting to marry somebody from their own culture, even though there's no guarantee that that would work out necessarily. But it's certainly a sweet gesture to want to marry somebody from your own culture and language and background. So it always depends, you know. I always say, look at the country of origin. Is this person trying to run away from there? Mm-hmm. You know, because if it's a man who's living in Sweden, for instance, most women there are really, like, you know, they're not feminine. So you may actually be trying to find somebody from another country that's feminine. You know, you can't fault people for that.
Thank you so much. A gentleman, 45 years old, asked that, he says that I got married to my wife when we were really young, 15 years ago, and we started building our life from zero, and we both worked really hard, and now that we are successful, my wife turned into very masculine, with a woman with masculine energy that like undergo and working, business, everything, and her clothing is as well changed. Of course, we needed that energy to build up the life and get where we are. But now, when I see a feminine lady passing by, I get attracted, and I don't want that. I'm an honorable man, and I want my wife to have that sexiness that she used to have at the beginning when we were dating. How can I communicate that with my wife, and how can I help her get there?
Yeah. So she's changed, but so have you. You wanted her to be a warrior because you needed her help, you needed her energy, you needed her support. In fact, you asked her to change because you needed a partner who would run with you. Now that you've gotten to your kingdom, now you're like, oh, I want another model of woman. Well, too bad for you, because this is the model you got. Now, she's used to being that way. You liked her that way. Now your taste has changed. So what does she need to do? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she wants to change. I'm not sure if she is willing to change back to be that kind of woman for you. But definitely have a conversation with her and say to her, you know, I appreciate you as my partner and the fact that we came this far and that we are where we're at. And I love you and I want to stay in this relationship, but I'm finding myself being attracted to young, sexy things. And I feel like you don't care so much for me to be attracted to you in that way. What can I do to be a man that inspires your feminine energy and has you wanting me to take care of you or wanting to be feminine or sexy with me? What can I as a man do? And maybe you're not pursuing her that way anymore. Maybe you're not inspiring her to be feminine around you. And maybe you also need to start developing other ways of being with her. Maybe you're not being with her the way you used to be with her. And so I think that you should both look and see and have an honest conversation about what's happening in your relationship and maybe some changes you need to make. And I see this a lot. Women helping men build empires. And then the woman who helped you build the empire, you know, she's got her sleeves up, she's covered with dust, she's, you know, got paint all over her, you know, and you look at her, you're like, I like that girl who's wearing the high heels and has lipstick on and smells really good, but she was the one in the trenches with you. She was the one who was in the war with you. And you need to really look at yourself. You say you're an honorable man. Are you really? Are you really an honorable man? Do you really appreciate the one who went to war with you and killed the enemy and now you're safe? You really have to look and see, because it took something for her to be in the trenches with you. And now you don't appreciate that anymore. So you really have to look and see whether you just wanted somebody to help you build your empire or whether she was really your wife.
Thank you so much. Dr. Sayan, in a marriage that both men and women are educated, they have career, they have money, and they want to start a life, how this talk about money and managing the house and like bills and everything should be done so we are saving the energy in a healthy way, but then we have this conversation about the finance?
Well, money has nothing to do with feminine energy or masculine energy. What we're talking about is when we are dating, men do a lot of things. They take us out, they buy us presents, they tell us how beautiful we are, they are willing to do things so that we like them. And then somehow, when we decide to get married, they think, okay, now we're done. So they don't do those things anymore that make the person feel like they're being pursued. And it has nothing to do with money. Women are very willing to bring the money, spend the money together, and build a life with you. But then don't forget that she's still the woman who wants to be loved and pursued and taken out on dates and told how beautiful she is. So don't stop doing the things that you used to do when you were dating. And women also, don't stop, you know, caring about how you look and respecting him and honoring him as the man in the relationship so that the energy remains. But money is not the issue. How should we talk about money? However you both like. You know, some women want to keep their own money in the bank for emergency uses only. Some women, they want to be 50-50 partners. Some women, they don't mind making more than the guy. You know, whatever makes you happy.
Okay,
That's not what defines masculinity and femininity in a relationship. It's not about money.
Thank you. A woman asked that when we get into a fight, when she gets into a fight with her boyfriend and they stop talking to each other for like a couple of hours or for a day, he's expecting her to call first because he's a man and he has pride and everything. Is that true? Is that like the masculine energy that we have to, or the man should pursue the woman?
Mm-hmm. Well, whatever you like. You know, I think there is no rules really about that. If you feel that you were the one who was wrong and what you did was inappropriate, and you feel like you want to take responsibility for it and talk, then you should do that. This isn't about masculine and feminine. It's about the quality of your relationship. Many times in my relationship when we were dating, I had said or done something that I knew was hurtful. And then when I went and thought about it, I realized that the way in which I had approached the situation was uncool or wrong or hurtful or inappropriate, or I hadn't seen the situation clearly. So I would take responsibility and call and say, look, I really thought about this. Even though I was the one who walked away, I realized that I didn't see the situation clearly. Can we talk? And a lot of times Gregory did that, you know, but we weren't keeping tabs on who's calling and, you know, I'm the man and you're the woman. And I think that's childish. I really think that anybody who has something to say or feels like they made a mistake or wants to take the first step should definitely do that. But it shouldn't be every time it's one person and we have the rules and I'm the guy and you're the woman. That's boring. That's childish.
Thank you.
Sure.
A man asked that I'm dating a woman and she's having too many guy friends around her. Mm-hmm. And she's saying that I grew up with men, I have brothers, uncles, and I'm really comfortable with men. I should be aware that this woman has so much masculine energy. Is that dangerous? Is it going to cause issues if we get married? What should I do and what conversation I should have?
It's causing issues right now. So you're the kind of guy who doesn't like that. So you should just be honest about it and say, you know, maybe I don't mind you having male friends after I get to know some of them. But right now, I need us exclusively dating. And I ask that for the next few months, 6 months or so, until our relationship is solid, you put your guy friends on hold and let's focus on our relationship because it distracts me. Are you committed to being in this relationship with me, and are you willing to do that? And she has a choice to make. Either this guy is so important to her that she can, if those are real friends, she can put them on hold and say, yeah, no problem. I can exclusively date you, and whenever you're comfortable, I can introduce my friends to you so that you know they're really friends. And if those guys are really friends, they would tell her, hey, you know what, this is disrespectful to a man. He needs to have his time with you and not feel like he's competing with us. We understand, we're gonna back off, and you go date him, and whenever he's comfortable, introduce him to us. That's what friends do. If she's unwilling to do that, you know, she's shopping. She's really shopping. She's with you, but then she also wants to keep her options open, just in case one of those guys that she really liked may come forward now that you're in the picture, and now he got jealous, you know. She's shopping. I mean, we girls do that, you know. Some of us do that.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
This is the end of first English show.
Wow, that went by very quickly.
Yeah. We're going to have a Farsi show tomorrow, Thursday, 10 a.m. Los Angeles time, 9:30 p.m. Iran time. And the topic is going to be how to fall in love for 1 hour. You can send your question to us today so we can ask it tomorrow in the show. As I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to have English shows every Wednesday, 12 noon Los Angeles time. So just be with us, send your questions, and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
قدم به قدم از آشنایی تا عشقی ماندگار توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان. هر کجای رابطه که هستی، پیش از شروع، ابتدای راه، قبل از ازدواج و یا مزدوج و بچه دار، با شرکت در این سمینار خارق‌العاده عشقی ماندگار در زندگی خود خلق کنید.
این سمینار بسیار سمیناریه که توش چیز یاد میگیرین، یعنی اصلا تکون دهنده است، مثل یه ورکشاپ میمونه. یعنی همه حتی فارغ التحصیلای ما تو سمینار بودن میگفتن این سمینار خودش مثل یه ورکشاپ مینی قیمت $25 و واقعا میخوام بهتون بگم به اندازه $300-400 برداشت میکنی از یه سمینار چند ساعته. حتما بیاین ما رو ببینید.
ونکوور شنبه 8 فوریه ساعت 7:30 عصر. بلیط های خود را همین الان از وبسایت و یا اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth تهیه بفرمایید و یا با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید.
Embrace Growth has a new home online where you can easily register for workshops and events, order from the online store, and be part of the worldwide community of Embrace Growth graduates. You'll be able to see Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan in your favorite seminars. Visit us today at embracegrowth.com.
در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان خود واقعیتان و همچنین مردان را بشناسید و با استفاده از قدرت زنانه خود روابطی سالم و عاشقانه بسازید. همبورگ 28 فوریه تا اول مارچ، لس آنجلس 17 تا 19 آپریل، تورنتو 26 تا 28 جون و ایروان ارمنستان 6 تا 8 آگوست برگزار خواهد شد. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com. قدم به قدم از آشنایی تا عشقی ماندگار توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان. هر کجای رابطه که هستی، پیش از شروع، ابتدای راه، قبل از ازدواج و یا مزدوج و بچه دار، با شرکت در این سمینار خارق‌العاده عشقی ماندگار در زندگی خود خلق کنید.
اگه واقعاً بخواید که فکر بکنید که من مرحله به مرحله چجوری با یه کسی آشنا بشم و چجوری رابطه رو تشکیل بدم که تبدیل بشه به یه عشقی که ماندگار باشه توی زندگی من، حتما بهتون توصیه میکنم اوناییتون که واقعا براتون مهمه یاد بگیرید این مراحل آشنایی تا نگه داشتن یه رابطه. حالا همه میگن خب من نمیخوام ازدواج کنم، منم اصراری ندارم کسی میخواد ازدواج کنه نکنیم، ولی لااقل یاد بگیریم یه رابطه سالم رو بتونیم نگهش داریم.
ونکوور شنبه 8 فوریه ساعت 7:30 عصر. بلیط های خود را همین الان از وبسایت و یا اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth تهیه بفرمایید و یا با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 مارچ، تورنتو 16 تا 18 اکتبر و ایروان ارمنستان 5 تا 7 نوامبر. برای اطلاعات بیشتر با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی Embrace Growth بپیوندید. قدم به قدم از آشنایی تا عشقی ماندگار توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان. هر کجای رابطه که هستی، پیش از شروع، ابتدای راه، قبل از ازدواج و یا مزدوج و بچه دار، با شرکت در این سمینار خارق‌العاده عشقی ماندگار در زندگی خود خلق کنید.
اگر ازدواج کردید و رابطه اونجوری که دلتون میخواد گرم و صمیمی و پر از عشق نیست، اگر در قسمتی از رابطتون هستین که فکر میکنین میخواید اقدام به جدایی بکنید، نکنید، بیاید این سمینار، بعداً چیزایی رو که تو این سمینار میشنوید برید و در رابطتون پیاده بکنید، بعداً تصمیم تصمیم جدی بگیرید. در هر مقطعی که هستید واقعا بهتون توصیه میکنم که این سمینار خاص رو از دست ندید. به جرئت میتونم بگم بهترین سمیناریه که خودم تا حالا روش کار کردم.
با این سمینار متفاوت مخصوص مجردین و متأهلین دوباره عاشق شوید. ونکوور شنبه 8 فوریه ساعت 7:30 عصر. بلیط‌های خود را همین الان از وبسایت و یا اپلیکیشن امبریسگرو تهیه بفرمایید و یا با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید.